everyone, Haley Gant here from Quest Trust Company. Today's quick video is going to be all about the health savings account. So I've written down some of the most common questions that we get when it comes to HSAs, and let's get right into it. So first, to kind of get started, is what is a health savings account? Health savings accounts, you'll hear us refer to them a lot as HSAs. So an HSA is basically a tax-advantaged account that you can use to pay for any of your health or medical expenses completely tax-free. Just like many self-directed IRAs, your HSA gets special tax advantages that you don't get as an individual, so it can really be a valuable account that you can self-direct and grow completely tax-free. But since you're able to use it for your qualified health expenses, you can actually access those tax-free funds before you're retired. So the health savings accounts, it's really one of the most valuable types of accounts that we have at Quest. And some of the things that it can be used for are any qualified medical expenses. So this could be something like trips to the dentist. If you wear contacts, if you wear glasses, you could pay for those expenses completely tax-free from your health savings accounts. This also includes expenses like the chiropractor, doctor's visits, prescription medicine. IRS Publication 969 actually goes through all of the various health expenses that you can use tax-free from your HSA. So if you're wanting to learn a little bit more about that, visit irs.gov, and that is HSA Publication 969. Who can have an HSA? So there are some qualifications that you have to meet in order to make a contribution to an HSA. There are 3 qualifications. The first and the main one that will determine if a lot of people are eligible or not is you have to have a high deductible health plan through your health insurance. So this is actually a specific type of health plan. It's the way that your plan will be classified as a high deductible health plan. And you have to have this type of insurance plan in order to make a contribution to an HSA. The other 2 qualifications are that you cannot be a dependent on someone else's tax return, and you can't be a recipient of Medicare. So if you meet these 3 qualifications, you have a high deductible health plan, you're not a dependent, and you're not on Medicare, then you are eligible to make contributions into a health savings account. If you have questions about whether you qualify or not, give us a call. One of our IRA specialists can help to really kind of walk you through it from there. But if you do qualify for an HSA, then the amounts that you can put into it depend on who is covered on your health plan. So if it's just you covered on your health insurance, you've got single coverage, then for 2020, you can contribute $3,550 to your HSA for this year. If it's you and a spouse, or say you and dependents covered on your health plan, then you can contribute $7,100 to your HSA for 2020. Now, keep in mind, contributions are limited, but growth from investments are not. So if you take this small amount, say you're $3,550, and put it into an HSA, you can do investments with this account, grow it completely tax-free, and then use those distributions to pay for any of your qualified health expenses completely tax-free. Another really cool thing about the HSA, that it's actually the only type of account that gets this benefit, is when you make contributions to an HSA, they're tax deferred. So you get a tax deduction whenever you make contributions to your HSA. Then you can invest it and grow it, and as long as those distributions are used to pay for your qualified health expenses, the money comes out completely tax-free. So it's the only account where you get a tax deduction when you put the money in, and it comes out completely tax-free. It's a huge, huge benefit, and again, you can self-direct an HSA just like all of our other IRAs at Quest, but you can access those distributions completely tax-free before you're 59 and a half, because you're reimbursing yourself for those qualified health expenses. Another really cool thing about the HSA is one time in your life, you can actually fund your HSA up to that year's contribution limits, completely tax and penalty free from your traditional IRA. So if you're looking to start your HSA, make some contributions in there, but maybe you don't want to take these contributions from your own personal savings account, you could actually fund your HSA from your traditional IRA up to that year's contribution limits without any taxes or any penalties. What's also really cool about the HSA is if you have a medical expense that occurs and you end up paying for that expense out of pocket, as long as your HSA is in place at the time that you incur that health expense, you could actually come back at any point in the future and reimburse yourself completely tax-free from that health savings account. What does that mean for you? Say you start an HSA today, you don't have that much money in there, but you fall and maybe you have a $20,000 health expense that you end up having to pay for out of pocket right now. Since your HSA is in place at the time that this health expense occurs, you could come back months or years down the line once you've invested and grown your HSA and take that $20,000 distribution completely tax-free to reimburse yourself for that health expense that you had to pay for out of pocket previously. So if you kind of strategize that, you can use your HSA in some really cool ways to reimburse yourself completely tax-free for those qualified health expenses. Another really big common question that we get with the HSA is, do I lose it at the end of the year? And you actually don't, and this is a huge benefit. So a lot of people out there might have what's called a flexible spending account, which is anything but flexible because you lose it at the end of the year if you don't use it. But the HSA is not like that at all. It rolls over from year to year. You can invest it and you can grow it and take those distributions at any time to reimburse yourself for those qualified health expenses. Now, a lot of people might have an HSA through their employer, but they're not really aware that they can self-direct it. If you're looking to self-direct your HSA, you don't necessarily have to close out your current HSA. You could just open up a second HSA at Quest, either transfer some money over or make some contributions, and you can actually have multiple HSAs at the same time, maybe holding different types of investments, and then again, you can take distributions from those at any time completely tax-free. There's no limit as to how many HSAs you might have, but you are still limited on those yearly contribution limits. So if you max out your HSA contributions through your employer, you wouldn't be able to also double those up at Quest for the year, but you do have a lot of flexibility where you can have a self-directed HSA and then maybe another HSA as well that your employer is helping to make contributions to. Now, speaking of self-directed HSAs, what investment options do you have? You have the exact same investment options as any of the other IRAs that we hold here at Quest. You can hold real estate, you can hold notes, you can hold private placement investments. And what's also really awesome is you can actually partner your HSA in with your other accounts and grow your multiple buckets of money completely tax-free. So say if you've got a small HSA, don't let that deter you. You can still partner that account in, do some creative investments with it, and grow those funds to use for those health expenses. If you guys have more questions about how the HSA works, I know this short video is barely scratching the surface, but we have several IRA specialists here at Quest that can help to walk you through it. We can walk you through the portability of how your HSA funds might move over to Quest, how to make contributions if you qualify, and all of those things. So if you have more questions, give us a call. We would love to help you out. You can reach us at the office at 855-FUN-IRAs, or you can request a free consultation with one of our IRA specialists right online at www.questtrust.com. We're always available for you guys. We love to help answer questions. So give us a call or shoot us an email. See you in the next video.